clear now that we're living in 1984. The only difference is we're free to walk around so far, but we are spied on by everything from our TVs to the cameras in the streets to our smartphones. The players in the cyber war are nation states, organized hacking groups, and individual hackers. All of them are armed with very sophisticated weaponized software. $100 billion was spent developing the hacking group within the CIA and all of the weaponized software that they produced. All that was taken. So I guarantee that all of that software is going to be on the dark web within a year, and 15-year-old kids will be able to buy it for $100. It's not like nuclear weapons, where you can keep them contained in a bunker with armed guards. You know, software, once you have it, I can take a disk, copy it for nothing. And I now have $100 billion worth of weapons. So this scares governments. Why? If they do not know where your income is coming from and what you're spending, then they can't collect income taxes, which is the largest single revenue source for almost every government. Now, in my mind, income taxes, at least in America, are illegal. They're unconstitutional, and until 1913, we didn't have them. Nevertheless, today, income taxes is the majority of the United States revenue source.
You went from 0 to 5 million customers have an interest in the product you're marketing within 2 weeks.
Hacking of the DNC, all of these other things. No, absolutely. Why? Because everything pointed to the Russians. Think about it. All right, so the DNC, they found the malware. It had the Russian language. It had a compile time that matched the business hours in Moscow. It had a Cyrillic keyboard that was used. That's the Russian keyboard that's used to create the program. On and on and on. Please, God, do you think that anyone in the Kremlin, anybody who is part of the Russian state, now imagine, Igor, you left your name in the program. Do you actually think the CIA or the NSA would do that? Yeah, we're going to hack Russia, but we don't care what you know. Leave the English language in there. Put Washington in there. No, please God, you hide it. So it's hard for me to say, is it good?
And yet you're here now.
For a month and a half, I was on the run. The reason that the government wanted to collect me was that after they had raided my property in 2012 in the jungle, shot my dog, abused me, destroyed $500,000 worth of my property over a bogus charge, I was pissed off. And so I donated to many secretaries within the government laptop computers, really nice ones, that were preloaded with viral spyware. Within a week, the entire government computer system was under my control. I was watching, monitoring, listening. I was looking for information that they had set me up for that raid. I didn't find that. I did find out software. So among the things that have happened is that you have little soft switches. When you power the phone off, the software tells the hardware to power off. That means a hacker can get in the middle and say, no, I'm going to pretend to turn the phone off. I'm going to make the screen go blank and turn the lights off, but I'm still going to be listening to you and watching you at night while your phone is by the bed. I'll hear everything that you say to your spouse and watch everything that you do. This is the reality we're living under. That has to change. We have to go back. And it sounds like reversing technology, but it's not. We have to go back to a hard switch that disconnects the battery, disconnects your Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi. The magic of cryptocurrency. I need no permission to send you money or to receive money. Do you understand what that means? Because law is only functional based on permission. We will not allow you to do that. If you do that, we will stop you. In the decentralized world, there is nothing to stop. There's nothing to control. There's not even any knowledge of the transaction between you and I. So we have to understand we're moving into a new universe, a universe of permissionless activity. Once you understand you have just sold yourself into slavery. Yeah. You understand that's, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to become a slave in order to do it, and I will be a slave for therefore ever after. You're enslaved to the economic system structured by the U.S. government. Let me tell you some stories. Maybe they don't teach history anymore. Are you kids familiar with a thing called scrip? S-C-R-I-P. In the late 1800s and the turn of the century, all over the world, large corporations didn't pay in cash. We didn't have such a system in the 1800s. There were different monetary systems everywhere. Throughout the West, a bank would issue its own currency, whatever, scrip. So scrip, you worked for, let's say, a coal mine. Coal mines are usually in remote places, or a lumber yard, remote places, or whatever. And you were paid in scrip, which could only be exchanged at the company's store. And we get to decide what the fucking prices are. You guys, do you understand the US dollar is just scrip? It's the same thing, only from a bigger entity called the government.
Yeah.
There. My name is John McAfee. I'm the founder of the McAfee antivirus software company. Although I've had nothing to do with this company for over 15 years, I still get volumes of mail asking, how do I uninstall this software? I have no idea.
If you were to bet on this one here, are you certain that if a government agency, is a government agency involved with a Google or Facebook or some of these guys to get, I mean, that smile says a lot, but are you certain of it that it's taken place?
Absolutely. Please, Lord, would any government allow Google, Facebook, Twitter, that has massive amounts of information on everybody, not just in America, but in the world? Do you think they would allow that just to freely go on its way? Of course not. Please, Lord. This is how governments work. You think I'm paranoid? Governments are paranoid. They're all terrified of losing power, of change, of revolution, of the world turning upside down. So, of course, I mean, it only makes sense.
John McAfee found dead today in a prison cell in Spain. The founder of the antivirus software that bears his name had just been ordered extradited to the United States on tax evasion charges. He faced up to 30 years in prison if convicted. He was 75, and a wild ride of a life it was. McAfee's virus scan software came out back in 1987, and he ran the company for 7 years until he resigned in '94. McAfee missed out on the $7.7 billion that Intel spent to buy the company, but he did amass an estimated $100 million fortune before the financial crisis crushed it back in 2008. Authorities in Spain say they suspect John McAfee killed himself. His death is under investigation.